One of the hardest things to do is to create consistency in your smart home between all of your smart home cameras. So today I'm going to walk you through an entire range of products from EZVIZ.
Secure area. Please leave as soon as possible.
Yeah, I got it.
Secure area. Please leave as soon as possible. Secure area. Please leave as soon as possible. Secure area. Please leave as soon as possible.
Hello Automators, thanks for tuning in again. I'm Brian from Automate Your Life, and today I'm going to take the frustration out of automation by introducing you to a smart home maker that maybe you haven't considered before and I think has some pretty interesting offerings. Now, fair warning, this video is sponsored by EZVIZ, but for those of you that have followed Automate Your Life for a long time, you know that doesn't guarantee them a positive review. What it guarantees them is that they get this spot on the channel for us to talk about their lineup. Now guys, before we get too far into this video, I do want to tell you that there is a giveaway and the details are coming towards the end of this video. The four cameras we're going to talk about today are sitting on the desk, and they are the C1C, which retails at just under $25 US, and then the C6N sitting over here, which is a pan and tilt camera. It's again meant for indoors and it retails at about $50. The C3N is an outdoor camera with a number of incredible capabilities, and then we jump up to the $150 C3X, which is an AI powered device with some incredible features. When you think about a camera at $25 US and we're talking about the C1C sitting over here, you are absolutely right in comparing it to the Wyze cam. And the fact is, it compares very well to that Wyze cam. That $25 US price point, you have 1080p, automatic switching night mode back and forth, two-way audio that is good, and then you have local recording as well because there's an actual SD card placement in here, a micro SD card.
Hello, Automators.
Now, if you don't want that local recording option or you don't want to go buy an SD card, you can go with a subscription-based cloud offering that EZVIZ does offer, and I'll talk about the pricing of that as we get later in the video across the lineup. But you know what, you look at all of the advanced features that they have, and I think you're getting a great deal with this camera. It might be my favorite of the four. Now, what I'll say is really great about the C1C is the ability to set your motion detection zone is so fine-tuned, and this is across the whole lineup. You can actually tap on every one of these little boxes to say where you'd like to detect motion and where you wouldn't. I also really like the ability to customize my notification schedule and also to change the audible notifications coming out of the device. I think that's really important to customize it for your situation. And in the end, the video quality is really what matters on a camera, and when I do that direct comparison to a Wyze cam, I like how this resolves the different situations, how this camera looks in the different situations that I put it in versus the Wyze cam. So it is definitely a direct competitor there. As we move up to the C6N sitting here, yes, we are moving up in price and we're getting some additional features for it. And the pan and tilt capability, you know, this is 360 degrees. It will, if it's in the middle of a room, it'll follow you all the way around. It's also a pretty smooth follow. It's not so quick like some of the other ones I've seen on the market, and I think it does really well with its rotation and its tilt function. Now, it also has a micro SD card on it. It's in a pretty interesting location, but that gives you that local storage option. But maybe my favorite effect or feature of this entire camera actually comes within the night vision mode. See, it has a smart IR light is what they're calling it, and so as you get closer to this device, it'll actually dim the IR light so you're not getting that washed out look that you do on a lot of smart home cameras in the evening. As we move into the outdoor cameras, the C3N is a $70 outdoor smart Wi-Fi camera. It has the micro SD card. It is IP67 waterproof. It has 1080p, but the best thing about this camera is really how it handles night vision. It has a color mode, a black and white mode, and a smart mode that kind of allows it to flip between them. And the spotlights that go along with those features are really powerful and really clearly let individuals know that you are aware they are within your camera's sight. Speaking of the outdoors, we got to talk about the mounting options for these. These are pretty serious mounts that you're getting with EZVIZ, but you can actually take apart these mounts and do some different things with them. So while the hardware is very robust and you think about these little components here, they are very strong, very well built, and I really think they're going to last for a long time outdoors. And all of that discussion holds true for the C3X, which as we move on to that and we talk about $150 US camera, we're moving into some pretty serious competitors for this camera, but they have some pretty incredible features that go along with this camera. See, no longer are you just limited to people detection. You actually get an option for vehicle detection as well. On top of that, you have this ability to actually put in, instead of zone detection, it's called line detection, and you can set up a line, and if something crosses that line, then you will detect, or then you will cause a trigger of a recording. And I think that's a really important component of narrowing down those false events, because that's pretty hard to fake, especially if you are trying to track a specific part of your home. I think there's probably a few situations you can think of right now to fit that. I can also deal with all of the security settings that you would expect, how loud the sound is, or maybe you want to go all the way to no sound. I can adjust whether or not there's a strobe light coming out of this thing or not. And you know what? One of the biggest things is whether or not I can actually see people. And there is this backlight mode that you can adjust on this camera, and it actually allows you to adjust in different segments of the picture. So if you only have a backlight at the top of your picture, well, you can actually turn that component on. So while you're probably looking at the 4 of these and you're probably narrowing down on 1 or 2 of them for a different situation for you, there's things to understand with the whole platform that might bring this into better focus for yourself. And the first thing I want to tell you about is the setup process. Now, the setup process for all 4 of these was the same every time, and I set them up in multiple houses. I set them up with multiple different Wi-Fi systems, and I set them each up multiple times just to test it out. Every time, same process, no problems, done and done. So that's very important, and the app was very good at guiding me, and that kind of goes throughout the whole process with these cameras. In general, the app is very good. There was a couple of nuances that I had to start to understand with cameras. I struggled to find the tilt and turn mode here, or pan mode on the C6N, but in general, they're all the same settings in the same places and relatively advanced for the price point that you're getting with these cameras. I like that I can control all of my cameras. You know, when you put together a system like this, all of them can be turned on and off in terms of their guard mode, essentially, with one button at the top of the application. And I like that I can configure to see all my cameras on one page within the application as well. This is great home control in an instant, and I can also do it through if this then that. The fact that I can put a micro SD card in all of these cameras is so important, and that cloud service subscription plan, you know what? If you're just doing one camera, it's a little pricey, but by the time you get to 3 or 4 cameras, that subscription cloud service starts to make a lot of sense actually in terms of pricing versus a lot of competitors. In terms of reviewing events in the application, notifications were great, and then I was able to review them. You don't have a visible notification or like a thumbnail with the notification, so that might be a little bit of a drawback versus some of the other systems, but the ability to review was very good, and I liked how it worked actually in a lot of cases because I could kind of see a good timeline in the different recordings. These receive regular firmware updates, and you know, I've had these for a month or so, and I would say that I have 2 or 3 firmware updates that are adding features to them. It's not like, oh, we have security bugs. It's adding a feature. So, you know, in the time I've had the C1C, it has actually gotten that person detection added to it on top of other features. Integration with the voice assistants was quick, easy. It worked as you would expect. There's not a lot of advanced control, but on top of that, sharing with your friends and family, if they want to see the cameras or the application in general, you can do that as well. It's very quick, very easy. So some of the negatives about the platform, you know, the subscription cost, that's going to be a big no for some people. That's what the micro SD cards are for. You know, they don't pop up immediately on smart displays, and there's not a PoE option. That's going to be a negative for some people as well. Really, in the end, guys, there's not a lot of negatives to be had here. I think if they're going to fit your situation, they're a good purchase, and you can look at all of the links down below for these different EZVIZ cameras. Now, on top of that, we have a giveaway here that I referenced earlier in the video, and I think it's a really good opportunity for you to go out and get a great outdoor camera here from EZVIZ. Pay attention though, it's not open for very long, this giveaway. Otherwise, guys, go check out those links, check out these cameras. Thanks for watching, everyone, and of course, don't hate, automate.